This is really awkward. I don't know how any of this works, so I'm just going to talk to myself. Maybe you're here. This is really awkward. Oh boy. I don't know how any of this works, so I'm just going to talk to myself. Okay. So. To start, I guess I'm going to tell you about some Gene Keys stuff, because there's this book called Gene Keys, and I don't know, I don't really want to tell you about what it is. You can look it up, but what's transiting right now is the 10th Gene Key, and the shadow aspect, which is, I like shadow, so I tend to work with the negative feelings as much as possible, or not even negative feelings, but just feelings that make me uncomfortable, or feelings that people or myself even struggle with. So this Gene Key, the shadow of it is self-obsession. And so some of those, the shadows can, it's so much more fun when you guys are all here. Anyway, the shadow can be self-denial or narcissism. So usually the repressive nature is the self-denying, and it's the introverted nature of the shadow. Self-obsession is to deny oneself altogether. This kind of reversal of the energy of self-obsession becomes entirely centrifugal and focuses on everything and anything but oneself. These are people who live lives who are lived for others and through others. However, such martyrdom does not have a positive spin and cannot serve evolution. And these lives are made up entirely of compromise, in which those who deny themselves become like zombies for the collective. Although this kind of language may sound shocking, a huge majority of the population lives like this, with no self-love, no true center heart within themselves. These people are the prime targets for the great world religions. Their self-denial does not allow them to recognize the divine within themselves. They find it far easier to project such an authority outside of themselves. So I'm just gonna center myself by doing some singing, and if you guys want to sing along, if you're watching, you're welcome to, and it's where I feel most comfortable. I'm putting this on C. This is a shrutibox. This got these little keys, and you can turn them to make different sounds. This is in the octave of C, so these two keys here are both C, and one's the middle C and the other is the high C. And I think they sound nice played together because it makes the sound more full. So I like to play with that. So if you have an instrument at home and it has a C, which I'm pretty sure there's no such thing as an instrument that doesn't have a C, unless, I don't know, let's not, don't get sidetracked. Feel free to play along, sing, whatever. Just get the feelings that are inside of yourself out through vibration, and just letting yourself feel anything that comes up, even if it's sad or hard to think about. I mean, just allow yourself to be in the safe space of feeling within yourself, and just sing or hum a tone. I like to make obnoxious sounds with this. Sometimes it's really fun to make bad sounds. I'll try not to hurt your ears. like a song in a sense. So you inhale as fully as you can, and with your exhale, as long as you can make it last, try to make the whole entire exhale like a song. You can have it evolve into different notes, whatever you want. It's free to explore. Yeah, it's important to remember to take breaks when you're singing, because you will get lightheaded, and don't try to stand up too soon. But yeah, after some time, your voice might get sore, but if you just keep doing it all the time, it eventually stops hurting. And I don't know, I guess there's the quality people who sing for hours and hours a day, and seems to be doing them some good, so I think it's healthy. I'm gonna put on my eyes so I can see. Hi, Chip! Oh, hi, guys. Anyway, I don't want to know that you're watching because it makes me even more embarrassed. So I actually just found this instrument. It's called a shrutibox. It's got these keys and stuff on it. And I went to this ayahuasca retreat, and it was awful. Because the people who were running it weren't for me, I suppose, is the way you could say it. But that happens a lot. Or maybe I'm not for them. I don't know. Either way, the thing was completely worth it because I met this amazing instrument, and I had some interesting revelations on ayahuasca about yeah, my purpose and what I've been avoiding in my purpose, which is stupid, but my purpose is singing, even though I've been terrified of singing my entire life. And so now I do it as often as possible, and in the most uncomfortable ways as possible, like on these things. So, yeah, I sing, and my goal is to get 13% of the population singing and comfortable with their voice, and just feeling like it's okay to make sound, and that you can take up space and your body is your own, and like, if people don't like it, they can leave. So I'm assuming you're all here and you're not leaving yet, so you're welcome to go at any time. Safe words, ambrosia, or you can just turn it off. Until then, I will do my weird shit. So now that we've been singing for a little while, I was going to tell you about, we're talking about the 10th gene key, which me, myself, and I are talking about the 10th gene key, which is about, well, I like to focus on the shadow aspect, which is, this one is self-obsession, the gift, which is where you're the next step above when you've kind of like gotten out of the, what is it? So like, there's like the base reactions where you're just kind of like looking out for yourself, and you're kind of like afraid of everything, and the world is terrible, and so you close off to everything. And that's kind of like the shadow side. It's kind of like what you don't want to show to other people, and you don't want to expose to other people or whatever. But then once you realize that we're all the same, we're all one, you start to find that maybe it's not so scary outside, actually. That anything that you find that's scary is actually a reflection of you or what you need in order to heal. I've suffered a lot of trauma and abuse from life, but there's things that I thought I would never be able to overcome, because I felt like if you're coming into a world where even the people who are supposed to protect you, your parents, aren't able to protect you, and that there's nothing safe, and you find that the only way to find safety is in yourself, and that means closing off the entire world, that is one way to be safe, and you can assure yourself that nothing will happen, because you're going to be in your little bubble doing your own thing by yourself and never sharing it. And I don't know, I guess I hear that nothing happens in a vacuum. I don't know. Who knows, there's the whole vacuum of space, and there's things happening there, so whatever. Everything is one, is what I'm trying to tell you, and that the next step up from self-obsession is just naturalness, and that's just being authentic and being yourself and doing what you want when you want because you want to. That means not saying yes when you mean no, never saying yes when you mean no, and yeah, I don't know. just be you. And if you're acting with your highest intentions and the highest that you know how to be, I guess. So it's like, we all know that there's the obvious right from wrong of like, you know, you don't want to like hit other people unless they ask you to very nicely, and you're sure that they have a good safe word. But yeah, you just don't go out to hurt people. I mean, you often don't realize you're hurting. I mean, for me, myself, I've hurt people and I didn't know that I was hurting them. I thought I was just being authentically me and being like, well, I don't take any shit, and so if you're not exactly what I want, then I don't want you in my life. But I mean, is that really so wrong? To not want somebody in your life if they're not who you resonate with? I don't think it's wrong. I think it's setting people free, and yeah, I only want you if you want me, and I only want you if I want you. So yeah. Anyway, so that's naturalness, and I think I'm finally learning to be more in my naturalness rather than just my self-obsession of like, oh my god, that person's like glaring at me because they think I'm stupid or they hate me, when really they're just like squinting. They're like, do I know that person? And so I take the squinting for them being like, oh, that's that person I hate, and I know they have no reason to hate me because I've never done anything to them, but I've also never gone up and been like, hi, I'm weird and I think you're cool. You know? But sometimes I do that. Anyway, Jesus Christ, I'm rambling. So the repressive nature of the shadow side of self-obsession. I like to focus on the shadow side because that's what I do, is the shadow work. So the repressive side is self-denial. And it seems a little counterintuitive. So I'm going to read this again. I read it earlier, but I don't know that anybody was in here, but I think it's good to hear. The introverted nature of the shadow I'm going to start over. The introverted nature of the shadow of self-obsession is to deny oneself altogether. This kind of reversal of energy of self-obsession becomes entirely centrifugal and focuses on everything and anything but oneself. These are people whose lives are lived for others and through others. It's a martyrdom, but it doesn't have a positive spin and cannot serve evolution. These lives are made up entirely of compromise, in which those who deny themselves become like zombies for the collective. Although this kind of language may seem shocking, the majority of the world population lives like this, with no real self-love and no true center heart within themselves. These people are prime targets of great world religions. I wouldn't call them great, but yes, world religions. Their self-denial does not allow them to recognize the divine within themselves, finding it far easier to project such an authority outside of themselves. Fuck yeah. The other one to think about, since we already went over that one a second ago, is the reactive nature of this shadow, and that's narcissism. I actually haven't read this yet because I was supposed to prepare, and I am the most horrible fear procrastinator. If I'm afraid of something, I will procrastinate till the very last second. So hi, I'm afraid of this. Thanks for being here. So the reactive nature is narcissism. When the self-obsessive force is externalized through the reactive nature, it becomes truly narcissistic in the sense that it excludes all others. Just as the repressive nature denies its own existence, the reactive nature denies the existence of others. These are people whose lives are based entirely around themselves. The fear within them lives as anger. They project their fear of losing their identity onto others and onto society in general. Oof. Such people cannot yield any part of themselves to others. They live in paranoia that the world or others will somehow rob them of their right to freedom. The reactive nature finds relationships the hardest of all, since they are essentially locked in a love affair with themselves, but not with their true self. The true self is everywhere and in everything, since its nature is love. However, to realize such a concept, one has to drop the very thing that gives them the illusion of safety. The illusion of individual identity. Man, I've oscillated between these two for a lot of my early life. I mean, I felt like I have to sacrifice everything that I am to help others. Well, specifically, like, you know, as a kid, you know, or at least for me, I felt like it wasn't safe for me to have needs. It wasn't safe for me to have wants. And I felt like I had to make my needs non-existent in order to be loved. And I also had to fulfill the needs of others so that I could continue to get my needs met as a child, you know, being fed and clothed and housed. In order to get those things that I needed for survival, I needed to please my mom. And whatever she needed, I had to try to be that. And then at some point, I started seeing that I didn't really need anybody to take care of me, that I could eat out of a trash can if I needed to. Like, I don't know, I just felt like I didn't need others to survive. And once I realized I didn't need others to survive, which was, I don't know, I think I finally figured that out about age, I don't know, after a while. Early middle school, maybe? I don't know. That was when I just kind of reverted into I guess you would say it was the narcissistic one, where I felt like it's not that nobody else existed, but that it was me against the world. That in order to survive, I had to keep myself safe from everybody. And that meant kind of like pushing away anything that I didn't agree with completely, or what else? Not that I denied the existence of others, it was just kind of like we were all planets in the solar system. It's like we don't really, I mean, we affect each other with like our movement, but we were just like, I'm a being, you are a being, we don't cross-pollinate. Anyway, I'm just rambling about myself, which is awkward, so I'm going to play music instead. Alright, let's sing. So you guys can think about narcissism and self-denying and the ways that you see that in yourself, if you want to. I think it's kind of fun and kinky. There's a book called Existential Kink that talks about kind of like kinkifying your shame and any feelings of negativeness, and rather than being like, oh my god, I'm a terrible person, be like, oh fuck, I'm a terrible person, and then kind of like getting off, not like in a sexy way, but I mean, you can if you want to, but choose your own adventure. But that one's for the President of the United States, named Kristen Marina. By the way, sidetrack. I have a funny thing that I want everybody to do with their ballots, because 2024, we're going to be doing another election in which we vote for some sort of scam artist or another scam artist, and I actually think that it might be way more entertaining if we just all vote for ourselves for president. Just fill it in. I mean, it's not really going to make much difference whether we get Trump, whether we get Biden, whether we get some, it's not going to happen, party. Just vote for yourself. Just turn in a ballot. I don't care who you vote for, really, but it'd be more funny if you vote for yourself. Especially since we're doing the self-obsession gene key. Think about it. It's not a coincidence. Anyway, singing on C. We're in the key of C. That was First Sight On. thinking about the ways that I exclude others, and like my tendencies occasionally to be like a gatekeeper, you know, all the negative things that you do that you're like, wow, that was not nice or inclusive, or not at all recognizing that we're all individuals, but we are all also the same, and we have the same sort of needs. And just trying to think about the times that I am excluding others, and thinking about how when I feel a desire to exclude somebody, how I can get curious as to why I'm excluding somebody, and then challenge myself to include them instead. And then if that feels scary for me, sitting with the feeling of why that feels scary for me, and how can I learn to recognize that we are all just seeking love and connection. Maybe you're not. If you're not, you can let me know in the comments. Are you not seeking love and connection? Whatever. Or we can sing. We're in the key of C, if anybody wants to drone along with anything. But, you know, you can play whatever you want over a C as long as it sounds harmonious to you. Just give yourself time and space to think about your feelings and experience them through vibration and sound. I know you are, Sidon. And that's why I love you too. I'm working on loving everybody. I recently discovered I don't believe in romantic relationships because I'm in love with everybody. And I don't believe in limiting love. That said, I'm also an asexual being. Now. Or at least for as long as I want to be. For a second, I'm going to switch to Sidon's favorite note, and that's F, which is the heart chakra. So, even though I'm like this like dark shadowy thing, I'm actually just a being of light and love, and it's super fucking cheesy and I hate it, but you know, whatever. So I like to sing with my pals on the F sometimes, and sometimes like the note sounds really terrible, and like you'll be singing along with one and you're like, oh god, I really hate this note, and the longer you stick with a note that you hate, you can turn it into something beautiful, and I don't know, you can have fun with it. And I don't know, just so this one's really good to practice Tonglen, which I don't, if you're familiar with, it's I think a Buddhist tradition in which you, if you are brave enough, you can open yourself up to pulling in the negative and toxic, shadowy energy from the world and pulling it into yourself and completely filling yourself with the blackness and the darkness of hate and fear and anger. And imagine that in pulling that in you, I know this is counterintuitive, you pull it in you so that you can heal it from, you can remove it from the world. And that the more we do this, if we all are practicing this, we can absorb and transmute some of that shadow. And so when you transmute it, you imagine that when you inhale the darkness, it's filling all the pieces of you, and like the darkness that you're absorbing is kind of like you know, like the cohesive property of water. So it's like it's got this cohesive bond. So if water is next to another droplet, it just immediately amoebas into it. And so if you think about the shadows and darkness inside of you being like this amoeba that attaches to the shadows and darkness of the world, because we're all the same. And so if you're inhaling all of this darkness and it's melding with your darkness, and then you, as you're inhaling, you keep doing that and filling yourself with this darkness and imagining your darkness melding with it. And then when you exhale, you imagine that there's a light that beams down from above and just shines down into you, and it instantly transmutes all of that shadow into this brilliant light that you can just feel like bursting in every cell, and it explodes out of you everywhere. It's like, you know, it's a light orgasm, we can call it. So you just imagine that feeling of this release and releasing light into the world, and you have done something great to open yourself up to pain and suffering in order to remove it for others, or just for more space in the world for kindness. And yeah, I guess it's Christmas Eve or something. I'm not a holiday person. And I don't believe in organized religion because, you know, it causes a lot of harm and causes people to see others as other rather than just realizing that we're all the same, and it doesn't matter what you call God. It's a rose by any other name would smell just as sweet. So, God, source, Allah, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Just allow yourself to be a conduit of that brilliant energy and a magnet for the negative darkness in this moment. You don't want to be a magnet all the time, believe me, it sucks. But yeah, just allow yourself to sit with the darkness in yourself and in others, and then as you exhale with glorious F notes, which is the heart chakra, you're just remembering that you are God, you are one with everything, that everybody's pain is your pain, and that the best way to comfort pain is through love. So here we go, let's do some love. We're in the key of F. Love you, Angela. And it's okay if you can't imagine the bright light right away. Sometimes I find it, for me anyway, it's easier to just imagine the darkness, and then I'm just inhaling darkness and just absorbing it and just sitting in it and stewing in it for a while, and then eventually something will shift in me, and then everything will just become light. So for now I'm doing some darkness because I can't get to the light yet. It'll come. It always comes. That's faith. And imagine the people suffering in Palestine right now. You can imagine the people suffering on the streets. You can think about all of the animals that are abused. All the hatred that people feel, the separation, the isolation, and the loneliness. Those feelings are important. And it's a privilege to experience them. Because sometimes you only know if something is real if it hurts. At least that's what I used to believe. That's the only way anything felt real, is if I was suffering. And it's okay to cry. We are taught as children not to cry. We're taught to just suck it up, everything will be better. Just big girls, big boys, big children don't cry. We need to cry. It's self-soothing. It's allowing yourself to feel your feelings. And if you don't feel your feelings, they're still there. If you don't feel your feelings and allow yourself to sit with the negative feelings, this world is too much. You can't keep it inside of yourself. That's how you get, I believe, illnesses, cancer. I had huge digestive issues from holding all of my pain inside. I gave birth to my pain on the dance floor at Coffin Club. And it was like this ball of toxic that had been in me forever just suddenly turned into this light that I could not contain any longer. And it just shot out of me. And it was, ever since then I've been hearing voices, but not in a bad way, I hope. They don't tell me to do bad things. They tell me to sing to people. And they tell me to go and talk to that guy in the corner who looks scary. Because every time I go and talk to that person in the corner who I was like, oh my god, that person's freaking me out. They're probably like a rapist, or they're going to kill me, or they're going to harm me in some way. Every time I have gone and talked to these people, I have found somebody who is suffering. And somebody who is lonely and desperate. And they just wanted somebody to care about them. And I think if I could just teach everybody to see other people as their favorite animals. I see each one of you as cats, because I fucking love cats. And if I can just pretend that everybody's a cat, then I can love you. And then after pretending for a while, you start to just realize that people are actually really awesome. And if you just give them a chance and put aside your fear of getting hurt, and just realize it doesn't really matter if you're hurt. That's just because the other person is also hurt, and they're trying to let you know how they feel. They could just tell you with words, but they don't know how to do that yet. So we have to just be compassionate with where people are. It's okay to cry. If you're not too self-conscious, I would ask that y'all say, if you want to, that it's okay to cry. And now I sound just like the guy on Daria. What was that? The okay to cry corral. Oh, Jesus. What was that teacher's name? Do you remember the teacher from Daria? I don't know. Anyway. Sometimes when it gets too heavy, I know that I like the darkness a lot, and I like to sit in it and cry. But if it's too heavy for y'all, we can take it down a notch. And I'm going to try to do something that I like to do that's really uncomfortable. And I'm going to try to hit the highest note I can, because it's really fun to explore your voice. And this is the voice development part of what I like to do. So it's every time you try to hit a note that you can't quite hit, your voice is learning. So as long as it doesn't hurt, you're learning and growing, and you can only learn and grow when you make mistakes. And so this might sound really bad, but I'm gonna try to get high notes out here. So at home, if you guys are watching, do some high notes, because it's embarrassing. This is an F, by the way. It's for the heart chakra. I have to work up to it now because I've been crying. It's okay to mess up. I'm telling me. And you. You know when it's out of tune when you hear it like going wah, 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 wah. So the goal is to, I mean, if you want, your goal can be whatever, but my goal for me is to try to get my high notes to be non-warbly. Although warbling can be a nice choice for dissonance, because every now and then some dissonance is nice for the spooky sounds. Anyway, so do what you want. feeling more positive now. So when you're doing these things, when you're doing the light one, it's so much better in person because we can hear each other. And when you get different frequencies within a harmony, it's like every voice is doing it's like if you're imagining making a chord with your voice, and so you have different people doing different notes within the chord, especially like a really nice one, like so the minor chords and like the diminished, where they have just a little bit of dissonance. And when you're in a live setting with people singing like this, you can coordinate where you all are doing like a different piece of a chord, and it makes the most transcendent sound. That's like, I don't know, it's so cliche to say, but it's like choirs of angels, and it's phenomenal. So that's why I do this, really, because I can just sing by myself in my little nook all day long, but I can never harmonize with myself. Well, I guess I can if I use loopers, which sometimes I do, but it's way better with people. And so I'm trying to build this thing where we all just sing together and process our emotions in a safe space where you can talk about them if you want to, or you can write them in. We have a jar called Revelations and Confessions. Well, it's backwards. It's supposed to be Confessions and Revelations, but I messed up on the writing. Anyway, so you can write those things in if you want to be anonymous. Yeah, people will put things in like, let's see where did I put my confession jar? There it is. There was a really good confession in here. I'm going to read it to y'all. From our last group. So this is the kind of stuff we like to do. Oh, yeah, this one's really sad. And this one says, I fear rejection from community. Why? I mean, fearing rejection is just about feeling like you're not good enough, I'm assuming. Or like, I fear rejection when I feel like I'm not good enough there. I'll frame it in my own language. And when you think that you're inferior in some way, I think that can cause a lot of problems with connection. But then there's also the opposite, which goes along with the gene keys again. So there's believing that you're inferior, and so being afraid of connection because you don't think you're good enough. But then there's also the feeling like you're too good for. And that is also, it has the same outcome. Whether you're too good for someone or you're not good enough for someone, you're still isolating yourself and not connecting or seeing the other person for who they are. And so if you fear community, I would say that where do you feel like you're not good enough? Or where do you feel like you're too good for the people that you may be around who are in the communities that are available to you? And then in that case, if you're too good, see how you can humble yourself and learn that you maybe don't see somebody's potential or worth right off the bat if they don't have something that calls to you, like something that sparks your passion. But deep down, I don't think I've ever met a person who isn't fascinating. The only people who are unfascinating to me are the ones who refuse to interact. So, like, if I'm trying to talk to you and you're just like one word answer is like, no, I'm fine. It's like, well, then you are not fascinating because you won't let anybody in. So, yeah, let people in. What's the worst that could happen? They may break your heart, but you'll learn something about yourself and about your values. If somebody's hurting you, it's because they're going up against what you value. And so they're teaching you to stand up for what you believe in. And like, I just now was like, okay, well fine, if that's the case, then like, I'm trying to think about in my life, the things that are the most hurtful, that I have a hard time finding anything good in. Like, well, let's get personal. I was molested as a child by my father, and trying to find out, I mean, when you experience something like that, where it's somebody who's supposed to care for you and protect you, and they don't feel like that keeping their hands to themselves is part of the taking care of your child. I don't know. I'm not really sure exactly what the logic is on that, and if I try to figure out the logic in it, that's where I get sucked into this feeling that this world is just a terrible place and terrible people are here and that there's nothing I can do about it. Or I can choose a different story, and that's what I have done. And I have chosen to believe that I chose these experiences. I choose the trauma. I choose the trauma that I come into it to experience, because some lessons can only be learned the hard way. And in order for me to learn today, and I still am learning, that my body is my own. I am the owner of my body, and what happens to my body is my choice. And in order to learn that, the first step for me was having the person that I'm supposed to trust and love take that away from me. And he never believed he did anything wrong, because he, in a lot of ways, I'm accidentally following in his footsteps. He apparently was, it doesn't matter what he was doing, but he didn't believe that he was hurting me, because he believed that he was helping me, because he thought I was uncomfortable, and that if for some reason I got a romantic massage from my father on my girl bits, that might make me more relaxed, I guess. Yeah, sorry, trigger warning. I don't do trigger warnings because I believe that we are here to experience this, and yeah. If I say anything that triggers you, please talk to me. I will be happy to work you through the trauma. But yeah, I believe that everything we experience is something that we not necessarily chose to experience, but it serves a lesson we're trying to learn in this life. And that the faster you learn the lessons, the better it gets. Because, I don't know exactly what to say to that, but there's lessons to be learned, and everything happens for a reason, I think. And everything that does happen is perfect, and it all leads me, it's everything that I've experienced has led me to where I am today, and I never dreamed I'd be doing this. Not that this is like all that extra, but it's extra for me, as somebody who was so terrified of speaking and of other people and making any sounds that I would cry if my teachers called on me. Like, yeah. I'm just learning how to be human. Just an alien here. Alright, anyway, I'm going to sing some more because this is uncomfortable. But the thing we were talking about, which I do want to focus on again because I've rambled off topic, was the I fear rejection from community, and why. Why do I feel that way? This is just a comment that somebody had left in our confessions jar. Yeah, and the ways that when you feel, I keep forgetting it, feel of rejection, how are you rejecting yourself, and how are you rejecting others? Yeah. Cool, so there's 30 minutes left. I'm going to sing some more. Hi. Oh, God. Oh, I'm moving back to C. I'm sorry. I love C. C is just so much nicer. And C is the root chakra, which is your sense of safety. And I guess I need a lot of safety. But I also play with the high C, which, I don't know, is apparently the God mind. So it's like I see it as a full circuit of safety and recognizing your true self and your true power of you are infinite within the infinite. Yeah. So act like it. As you sing along, if you want to imagine that there is light streaming from above and working its way through your body down to each chakra, and you can imagine that as the light touches your chakra, it is opening it. So, you know, there's the crown chakra, and then there's the third eye, and then kind of like the throat and the heart and the solar plexus and the whatever the fuck else. Just imagine it's going through all of your energy centers, however you want to visualize them, because nothing is real. Just fill yourself up with the positive energy that is the light and love and kindness and gratitude. A lot of times if you're stuck in a feeling of fear or anger, finding something to be grateful for, even if it's just that your heater works, or that you have a comfortable place to exist, that you're not covered in blisters or on fire or living in Palestine at the moment. I'm sorry if you are. You know, there's a lot to be grateful for, always. And that it's hard to hold any sort of negativity when you're in a feeling of connectedness. And I mean, if you ever take magic mushrooms, even the smallest amount, just a microdose, like a fraction of a mushroom, can teach you so much about the world and connection. I mean, they say that the whole earth is covered in mycelium. It's everything. So really, who's in charge here? We're outnumbered by the mushrooms. And the mushrooms just want to teach you about love and connection. So, all hail the mushrooms. Plant medicines are here for us. They're our teachers. You can also use them to mask your pain and to hide. But really, they're here to teach us. And all of this feelings that you have are also here to teach you. So, get curious. And sing. Love you, Emily. One fun thing you can sing while you're singing, you can say words if you like, and you can ask forgiveness from the people you have harmed, intentionally or unintentionally. So the people you have intentionally and unintentionally harmed, you ask forgiveness. And then you also give forgiveness to everybody who has harmed you, intentionally or unintentionally. And that's pretty good shit. So, you can say their names if you want to, you can sing their names, or you can just whatever you want. Usually it's easier to start with people that you don't already have grief with. You can send love to your cats. You can send love to your favorite pop star. You can send love to the ants, because the ants are really cute, even when they're in your kitchen. Sing love to the people that annoy you. And find joy in being annoyed. It's really funny, actually. If you're annoyed at somebody, it's really yourself that you're mad at. Also just hold the picture of a person in your mind, or an animal, or a tree, or your favorite bong, whatever, and send gratitude toward it. Don't forget to send it to yourself, because you got to put on your own oxygen mask before you can put on anybody else's, or whatever. drink water. Does anybody have any questions or things that they want to add or whatever? I'm not really sure how to interact with this thing because I'm a first-time internet user. Just kidding. But you want to say things, I saw, so maybe I'm actually over here. Maybe I can figure out how to work this chat. Mm-hmm. It's surprising to me that you feel rejected, said on. Because you're so welcoming and warm to everybody. Maybe I just get to see your good side all the time. I forgot to light my candle. Because usually after good Tonglen practice, it's probably a good idea to lose your Palo Santo so you can't cleanse your space. Sadie, there you are, friend. But it also just smells really nice. But I hear that this plant is endangered, which is sad, so maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully I'm wrong. I don't know how to work this thing. Anyway, well, this is just awkward, so I'm going to sing some more. Because that's how I process my uncomfortableness. Oh yeah. I did say I would share a secret from my journal. Oh yeah. So actually, I was really embarrassed on, was it Friday night? I was at Coffin Club, and I had placed my notebook. Well, I had misplaced my notebook, I guess is what we will say. This little notebook that I read in on the dance floor. And I had this panic attack. I was also on a little bit of mushrooms. So I was overreacting. But I thought I lost it, and so I panicked, and I had to go and find it. And then, the whole time I'm looking for it, I was thinking about all of the things that are in there that are important to me, that, like, if I lose them, I will be very sad about. And then I also started thinking about how embarrassing it would be for me if somebody found my notebook and then was reading it, because I think a lot of this stuff sounds kind of insane. But I don't know, when I'm dancing or just singing, random shit just comes into my brain, and like I was saying, I started hearing voices a few years ago. It was during the pandemic? I don't remember. But essentially it started after doing I'd done mushrooms once when I was younger, but, or like when I say younger, I mean like, early 30s, and then it just didn't really go the way I expected, and I wasn't ready for that message yet, the message of like openness and connection, and the person that I was doing it with was also not ready for that, and I only do intense stuff. I don't do fun things, I guess. I'm starting to do more. I'm getting in touch with my inner child more, but I'm typically a very serious person, and my idea of fun is asking you about your childhood and asking you what embarrasses you. So what embarrasses me is that the idea of losing my notebook, because then I started thinking about people reading it, and then as soon as I found it, which by the way it was in my pocket the whole time, yeah, so I had a panic attack for nothing. So when I found my notebook, I started opening it to random pages and reading little notes and being like, oh my god, if somebody else read this, I'd be so embarrassed. So I'm going to read you a few of them, because clearly the universe likes to point out to me when I have potentials for being uncomfortable. So here we go. Let me find. I'll just open it randomly. All right. Oh god. It's also written in the dark, so it's really hard to read. That does not make any sense. Well, this one's just stupid. It says, judge not, lest thee be judged. I might have been judging at the moment. Ooh, okay. This one says, I am the destroyer of systems, the breaker of patterns, the illuminator of shadow. I am one, I am all. I am the creator, I am Christ, I am Antichrist. See, these are the things I think on the dance floor. You're welcome. You invite us here, then sleep. I don't know what that means. Yeah. Oh, dark disco is a genre that I'm trying to get my band to move more into. We do some dark disco. Oh. Interesting. So I wrote, a while ago, I met this person who thought that I had told her, thank you for your service. And I was like, that's a very strange thing to say to somebody. But she was upset, I think, or just confused that I had said this to her, or that she thought I said this to her. And so it kind of has stuck with me as like saying thank you for your service and what that could mean. And I mean, I think that we should be thanking everybody for their service. Like, just existing in this world is kind of an act of service. To be interacting with other people is an act of service. I don't know. And it feels bad until you recall that it's an honor to serve. If you feel satisfaction in serving others, then it's an honor to serve. I don't know. Not really sure what that was about. I can't read what that says. Oh boy, we got 3 minutes. Cool. Alright. Oh. Oh, God, I don't know. This is like some rambling shit. Alright, I wrote, we hate well behind a screen, but still the screen is removed, though, I don't know. Sorry, I probably wrote this. The screen is removed, still requires vision. Ah, yeah. So we must feel in the dark, seeking warmth, comfort, or release. And how would we react? Blind, finding warmth and comfort. Like, this is so cheesy. I don't know, I was just, man. I don't want to say it, it's embarrassing. Never mind. Somebody who I've been recently trying to forgive, they pushed me hard to something. They triggered me too much and asked me to grow in a way I wasn't meant for or ready for yet. Nourished me through something and exposed me to so much. I was fascinated by your talent, drive, and passion. Says my ex-husband. His name's, I'm not going to tell you his name, but my ex-husband from a long, long time ago. He and I met in high school, and we were together for a very long time. And I wasn't a very open person back then, and basically he wanted more connection, and I was this sort of clammed up person that wouldn't share anything of myself with anybody, and eventually I broke up with him because I blamed him for my problems rather than realizing that it was me who wasn't open to growing. And I mean, he obviously, there were problems both sides, but largely it was me not being willing to see him because I was too afraid of myself. But anyway, I think it's time, so I'm leaving now.